Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for being here today. We're looking at the question of who are you becoming? And I thought it would be good to ask this question since we've had so much activation with the sun coming through with conjunctions to Uranus, Jupiter, Venus, and most recently Mercury since mid-May. So it's just been a lot of renewal energy. And I think it's a good time for all of us to really check in on how we're doing in our the solar part of us, right? The part that is continually becoming, continually on this sort of hero's journey, quest, etc. So I've got a new setup today. For those of you who've been around here for a little bit, I wanted to do it in sunlight, like having natural light. My normal space isn't that way, so if you're wondering why, that's why. And we've got 3 piles to choose from. So pile 1 with this stone here. Pile 2, we have the little mini wreath, I guess, situation, and pile 3 is the seed pod. So feel free to pause if you need a second and choose whatever pile or piles is calling to you, and I'll see you shortly. Thanks, y'all. Hi, pile 1. Welcome to your reading. Y'all chose this stone here and this pile of cards. So today we're looking at the question of who are you becoming? And the questions we have to look at are that first one, who are you becoming? And what are current blocks to the journey? And also, who's here to offer you assistance? So these are for the later questions. I'm going to put them over here. And yeah, we're looking at this as messages from the sun, because the sun is our hero's journey, right? It's the path of us becoming over time. And we can go through many of these arcs in our life. Like if you think of the larger goals that we set for life, that's absolutely the sun. It's sort of this always attaining and wanting more for ourselves, for our lives, for who we, like the stamp essentially we leave on the world. That's a lot about our solar journey and this idea of wanting to leave something lasting, right? It's like that eternal self is that solar energy. So let's see, let's just get into it. So we're going to use this first to ask who are you becoming. So for the collective watching pile 1, who are you becoming? Who is pile 1 becoming? I'm gonna go ahead and grab some from my deck as well before I get into it. So collective watching pile 1, who are they becoming? Who is pile 1 becoming? That's too many cards. Okay, beautiful. Just gonna check that it looks. Okay, group 1, who are you becoming? Absolutely someone who is able to embody a level of happiness and comfort, satisfaction, that's the word I was looking for. A level of satisfaction in your being that has very little to do with your surroundings. This amor fati is love your fate, right? And I think you are becoming someone who, through this hermit energy, is a light bearer in your own life. And because of that, you just hold this ability to experience satisfaction, to experience the good pieces of life, whether other people would recognize them as such or not. This prismatic awareness as well is just making me think, like, seeing so many different perspectives, that it's very difficult to sway you from coming back to this inner lantern that you've cultivated for yourself and moving forward. I love in this one that the hermit is walking towards the Orphic egg in the image, and that is like the new lives being birthed. And so I get this sense that you are becoming someone who's very devoted on your path of awakening and a path of leading you towards your own personal happiness in the way that is identified to you specifically, not any external people telling you what that should look like or what that means. And really just in this state of flow. I think this card really feels actually related to the Nine of Cups in that way. It's like when we enter into a state of fully being able to feel into and move with the flow of life, so much just becomes lighter and easier and more fulfilling too, I believe, because we're not in such a place of constriction and feeling held back by life, because we're unable to see, and from this kind of awareness, right, that there's so much more showing itself to us, but we don't have eyes to see yet, right? Like we're not actually in that, we're not on that level of frequency to be able to see that happening for us in that way. So I feel very much that you are becoming this person who's walking away, you know, like leaving the past behind. We've got the Cerberus dogs here, like one of them looking behind at the past, and it's just checking in on, am I through? Like, what am I leaving behind? Making sure anything that was conditioned into you, holding you back from being able to access this true sense of fulfillment, that it's being left in the past, that you don't have those constrictions anymore. You don't have the like other people's opinions, other people's desires for you, that they're no longer being carried forward on your path, and you are creating this clarity moving forward that you understand how to bring your light into the world. And it could be, I don't know where you are in this path. This is the path of becoming, right? So wherever you are in this, you can just know that your solar energy is guiding you towards becoming more of this hermit self. This is the Virgo card, so you might relate, that might be a strong placement in your chart, but it doesn't have to be. Or you could have like Virgo season coming up, might be really significant for you this year. And opening up maybe a new level of the journey for you at this time when the sun moves through Virgo. I just get the sense that you are creating your own inner holiness and recognizing yourself as such, and it's really transforming the way that you move in the world and actually even what your goals are. And if the sun is our expression, it's how we are seen in the world, it's how we also see the world. Like, if that is being so transformed, you might be heading in complete new directions as well, but obviously one that is deeply fulfilling and maybe even creating new desires and new wishes for you as you continue on the path here. So let's get the other questions here. So we have what are current blocks to the journey, and then who is here to offer you assistance. So for what are current blocks, we have this synthesis card coming out, and then for who is here to offer assistance, we have the Void and this Star Brothers card coming out. Let's see if I can push these up. So with synthesis coming out as a block, I'm getting the sense, because this is the experience, it's kind of like pulling out and seeing the larger picture, where you can see it's very much about duality. Like it speaks in the book about how we have like a thesis and antithesis, and then in the center is synthesis, right? And so I believe at this time, this is giving me the sense that a potential block on your path has to do with learning. Essentially, at this time, you're learning how to hold duality better and how to actually find your synthesis in the middle and the midst of what seem like opposing forces, perhaps. And also really getting a sense of your own impact on that journey and sort of cause and effect, right? This idea that when we make moves in the world, the way that impact is felt around us by other people. And it's hard sometimes to not get lost in that or be so concerned about it. And it gives me the sense that this might be something you're grappling with in this moment, and just wanting, that clarity, that looking backwards to make sure whatever you're doing, that you can have this more spiritualized perspective perhaps on the experience here, and coming from a place of more heart, more in your solar path, in like through the work you're doing with individuation, essentially becoming more of who you are, that you want your impact to be felt more intentionally in the world, is what I'm getting. And so it might feel like a block, but I get the sense too that it's a growth edge. It's what you're learning at this time to be more intentional in that way. And with the support coming through, this is great with the Void and Star Brothers, because this Void this is Hermit too, it feels very much like that energy of going within, of seeking the own inner light. There's like this one brighter star in the center of this womb-like energy. And it's difficult to be in the Void. It's not an easy place to be, but it's coming out as a support here. And with that, I think there's an opening for you to embrace it as such at this time, and to understand we need these moments of being in the Void, because it allows a moment of, first of all, being able to access our inner light, right? When we are so isolated in a way and separate from the material in that sense, because we're never separate, right, from source or anything. This is actually kind of like entering into that kind of deep, dark part of source, that where all life begins, essentially. And it can feel like you get lost in those places, but that's also a gift in itself, to be able to be lost so that we can find what our new direction wants to actually be. And with the Star Brothers coming through also, with this loyalty, safety, trust, it gives me the sense that this moment of being in the Void is also another way, like with intention. That word intention is really coming through for me a lot in this reading, that it's a time to be very intentional about who you want to call in as your people, whether it is in the material, like actual physical people, or support guides on the other side, ancestors, whoever it might be, to be knowing that there are forces, there are beings, there are people who deeply can offer you a sense of safety through this process. And part of the process itself is understanding that you can ask for that. So that feels really lovely that these came out together to offer that message as well. Yeah, I just see you really moving into more understanding of the texture of your own solar identity, of a more directional way of expressing it, where before it may have been it may have been felt hidden from you or something, but this Nine of Cups has a lot to do with coming into your own sense of what success could even mean, or what emotional fulfillment really deeply means. And this is 9-9, right? And this is just like, we're speaking to the solar journey, which is never ending. So this isn't to say this is who you become forever. That's not really what this is about. It's the who you are becoming right now, right? So that doesn't mean the journey ends here. And actually having this be 9-9, it does make me feel like the next piece of the journey, even beyond this becoming, is that Orphic egg, right? Like, is that brand new, fresh start where you've gone through this kind of journey through the void, right? And understood how to call upon your own light and discover what that actually is. And really, really calling in the people who can see it, who appreciate it, who value it, and want to see you shine it out moving forward. And it's a healing light. The sun, the sun itself, when we go in the sun, it actually activates the T cells in our body and moves them so that we have our body can heal better. So I always think as well, our solar journey is a journey of healing past wounds, of healing the collective through our individual expression. And I feel like Virgo energy is also healer energy too. So this is such a huge moment for you in this path of coming deeper into your own sense of being able to heal yourself, and then bring that eventually out into the world in a way that deeply satisfies you on an emotional and spiritual level too. So, all right, group one, thank you for being here today and listening to this reading. I hope this was supportive. And thank you to the sun for allowing these messages to happen, and Mercury, who's there with the sun right now. And hopefully I'll see you in another reading. Thank you so much. Bye. Hey, pile 2. Y'all chose this sweet little mini wreath here. Let's see if I can set it like, no, I'll just lay it there. Okay. And this few cards here, these few cards. So today we're looking at who are you becoming, and through the lens of the sun giving us these messages, as the sun is the hero's journey. It is the way we are always becoming in our life, the larger goals that we have for ourselves, that which we come here, that our soul desires to accomplish through this lifetime, as a way to experience a bit of eternity, I would say, as that light in us never completely dies, right? So with that, we're going to start a few questions. Let's see, so the first question is just that, who are you becoming? And then we'll ask what are current blocks to the journey and who is here to offer you assistance. So with that being said, let's just get into it. These are for later, so we'll just do this first. So for the collective watching pile 2, who are they becoming at this time? Messages from the sun, please. Who is pile 2 becoming? We have 3 of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, Knight of Discs, and the 9 of Swords here. And let me just draw a couple more from my deck. So, collective watching pile 2. Who are they becoming? had synchronicity, unification, the Riptides card, emotional presence, and sound to form. Let's just make sure. Oh yeah, great. This is interesting. I'm getting the sense that who you are becoming at this time, so like I said, we're always becoming, right? This is just the part of the path where you are right now. I'm really just drawn to how the Knight of Discs, which actually this is the King of Pentacles in this deck, is looking directly at this Nine of Swords. And I feel with the Three of Discs here, the Three of Pentacles with the Eight of Swords, or Eight of Wands, sorry, that there's this desire to move in the world and in your work, in the material, from a place where the mental blocks, the mental anguish, whatever has been feeling disruptive or distracting you from a path of being able to make direct action in the world, who you are becoming is someone who this is no longer an issue. And through devotion and dedication to working through, especially with this emotional presence coming out and Riptides, the ability to work through the emotions that this kind of Nine of Swords energy brings through when these thoughts come and can grab you, right? Like the wave, that riptide coming under unexpected, it just pulls you into states of difficult emotions that drag you off of this path or make it so it's much things just progress slower in the material because you're constantly being derailed. And it feels like you are becoming someone where that's no longer going to be the case anymore. And you're doing that. I love to see the unification card, and I'm feeling it in this sense of a unification of the thoughts, emotions, and action through the physical body, where you're no longer being hung up by this particular experience of the way that thoughts, and especially like self-depreciating beliefs or ways of speaking to yourself internally, that you're coming to a place where you're understanding how significant and important it is to have a handle on that and to understand how to work with it more, so that you're not like, even just synchronicity coming out, like, which this card feels connected as well to synchronicity. It's like when we're in that place where our mind has so much coming through telling us we're not right, like we shouldn't be following this, or et cetera, whatever it is telling you you're not doing things the right way, essentially, because which comes a lot from conditioning and from fear, and those are parts of us that hold that fear. So it's important to traverse this with a lot of care and love. But I say that because this synchronicity, I think this has really, your understanding as you're becoming this person, that holds you back from being able to access your own path that can be moved forward through synchronistic events, and really feeling more into that. And you understand that your intuition is super important and really supports you, but you have maybe had this barrier to that, or you're recognizing how the Nine of Swords energy has kept you from moving into your King of Pentacles. And achieving more in the material, especially. Having this emotional presence right underneath the Nine of Swords too is so much speaking to me. It's very, very important with whatever thoughts we're hearing, to remember they are coming from somewhere inside of us, and to not like externalize them essentially as, that's just lies, or it's not really it's not worth listening to, essentially. while that might be true to our perspective, it is coming from a part of us that is scared, most likely. A part of us that is wounded, some part of us that was traumatized. My favorite way to approach these situations when I have like recurring thoughts or thoughts that are damaging to me is to just ask who is sending me these thoughts right now. And then through a process of whatever part of me is coming forward and letting me know, oh, it's me, and then going on a conversation of, okay, why is this so concerning to you? Why do you need to tear me down in this moment to get my attention, right? Because when we continually move through Nine of Swords energy by just saying it doesn't matter and I need to focus on something better or what I actually want, it doesn't make it go away. And if we turn towards it, which I love, this Knight of Disc is staring right at it. It's like turning towards it with emotional presence, right? And then we can hold this love for that and say, okay, I understand you're sending me these hateful thoughts right now because you're really scared of me taking that next move forward. Let's talk about that. What is it specifically that you are so afraid of? And really allowing yourself some spaciousness. This is Pentacles. This takes time, right? It's slow movement, and giving yourself, the space to do that, and do it with a lot of care, because the more we are capable of doing that work, the quicker then our movement in the future is going to be through the material world. And the Three of Pentacles coming out here too, it gives me the sense of doing that work that internally, like with the different parts of us. I speak about this a lot on my channel just because internal family systems and parts work has been so significant for me in my own journey, and what I feel even using astrology is similar, that we are, made of so many different parts, and we have often conflicting voices, and getting a handle on understanding how to work with compassion through that and become our most present, full, higher self, being able to hold that for these parts of us is truly the work that can change lives. So that's why I bring it so much into my readings. But yeah, let's look at these questions here. And this sound of form too, I'll just say, is manifestation, right? It's understanding the words that we say have such deep resonance that they create the world around us. The things that we say, the things that we think, the things we believe, essentially. So it very much is tied in with these cards. So we have, the next questions are just what are current blocks to the journey, and then who's here to offer you assistance. And this is perfect. What are current blocks? Perception, exactly. And who's here to help on the journey? We have the wreath card coming out. Current blocks being perception. It's needing to open our eyes. I never noticed this, kind of a tear coming down into the shell, which that is reflective to me of this emotional presence Cancer card. Letting our emotions guide the way and open our perception of things. Letting us see our own pain in a way that creates illumination on our own story, on our own solar journey. If the sun is consciousness, the sun then is illuminating any shadow, anything that has been hidden. And that's the part of this journey, that you're on, is really, really bringing awareness into whatever it has been creating this sense of self-cruelty, really, and giving you the opportunity to perceive things in new ways. And coming through as a block, it is just a reminder here that it does take an openness and a willingness in order to get there. We have to be willing to perceive the fact that parts of us coming forward telling us like you're the worst, or you can never achieve this thing, or you're a horrible person, that being able to perceive them from a place of love, from a place of seeing beneath that, beneath the words coming forward, but knowing that they are parts of us that hold trauma, that hold a lot of fear, and that have been wounded and need our attention so that we can be more integrated, we can be more unified as a whole to move forward from a much more connected and more full of light, more consciousness coming into our being. So we're not so much getting pulled under by these hidden parts of us coming through in the ways that they do, like through our mind, in the thoughts that come through. Yeah, and with wreath coming out, longing for home, homesick for the stars, as support. I think that's just saying home is always available to you, and a lot of this journey is really helping you come more home in your own body, in your surroundings of where you are exactly right now. It's this sense of home is always available no matter where you are at in the journey, because you are light and you are connected to source at all times. Again, it's just the willingness to open yourself up to that, to know that it's true, and to understand that the support and the love, this card is making me feel unconditional love very strongly, and that is always present to you on the journey, whether it feels like it's not necessarily able to be showing up in the material, to know that it's always existing on a greater level from whatever you personally believe, right? Or what words you would use for that. But to know that the entirety of this experience is stitched together through this unconditional love, and it's always accessible to you. And that is the support that whoever's on your team, who's like helping you, wants you to lean into as much as possible. And as teachers, like, they can be your teachers. When we fully learn to receive that level of unconditional love, even just from the divine, or maybe you have a specific deity or something that you work with, or an ancestor who you know loved you, who you maybe knew in the physical, or even one who you've read stories about, who you feel you could tap into that unconditional love with. Practice that, like sitting in meditation and just feeling your heart opening little bit by little bit to allow their love to come through. And it is so necessary in order for us to have these perception shifts about our own self and our own inner world. Because if we don't do that, if we're not actually have ever felt that for ourselves, it's really hard to give it. It's really hard to give that to our own inner parts that are very, very wounded, because we just don't have the experience of feeling it fully yet, right? And so tapping into this as much as you can would be really good advice at this time too. And it's really there for you. So I'm gonna leave it there, pile 2. Thank you so much for hanging out and for listening to this reading today. I hope this was helpful and supportive. And thank you to the sun and to Mercury, who are conjunct in the sky right now, helping to bring down these solar messages for you on your solar journey. And I hope to see y'all in another reading. Thanks, bye. Hey, pile 3, you chose this seed pod and the cards over here. Today we're looking at who are you becoming? And let's see, so the questions we have are just the first one, which is who you are becoming. I'm gonna set these over here. And then we're also asking, what are current blocks to the journey? And who's here to offer you assistance? And so we're looking at this through the lens of the sun, right? Because the sun is our journey, our hero's journey, who we're continually becoming over the course of our life. So this is just a glimpse into right now who you are becoming at this point in time. And let's just get into it. So I'm going to draw some cards here first. So for the collective watching pile 3, who are they becoming? Get a couple from here. Who is pile 3 becoming? Synchronicity. Let me just make sure these are all showing up here. Okay, group 3. We've got the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Wands, and Wheel of Fortune as well. And this Call the Rock, Synchronicity, Paradox, Humbled, and Emotional Presence. Who are you becoming? You're becoming someone who, in the face of what would seem like complete loss and just, ruin, it's the key word on this card, that you are able to take precise, quick movement to understand you can enter into a new fate, essentially. That the wheel keeps turning and you are someone who wants to jump on that wheel and understands that it's possible and that all hope is never lost. And so you're deeply becoming a person who understands this truth, and so it's giving you this sense of fearlessness, really. And the ability to, in states of despair, in these moments when all seems lost, you stand up ready to take action, ready to move quickly to what you believe is your destiny, right? Is this rainbow path of greatness for you and your journey in this life. It's interesting. Actually, a couple of similar cards came out in the second pile. You might, if you were called to watch that one as well, you might be interested in that, but obviously not if it's not calling to you. I feel like you're not afraid to be humbled by life. You're becoming someone who's deeply unafraid of that and unafraid to hold the paradox of any situation you're in. This Ruin card is actually Sun in Gemini, and Gemini is that sign that is able to hold duality, able to hold the paradox of things, to see things from many different perspectives, which for a mind that hasn't come to a level of maturity, of stabilization, perhaps. It can lead to ruin because it's so much to take in, right? And I think you are greatly becoming someone where that isn't the case, where you actually see these moments of loss as great opportunities to jump back on the wheel and end up somewhere completely new that you didn't understand. You're following your synchronicity here in this part of your solar journey, and it's almost like your journey. This is really exciting to me. I just got like really excited. I feel like part of your solar path is continuing to move forward in the face of what to other people would feel completely destructive and like you can never come back from. And for you, this is part of your path. And it's like you're finally understanding that your solar light, a lot of it is just coming to this place of becoming a person who can go through the dark, who can have these great losses, and you just keep pressing forward because you understand it's part of why you came here. This is part of your soul's evolution, and you know that it's only going to continue progressing and keep on evolving for you. And you have this ability as well. You're becoming someone who has deep, deep emotional presence in the moments of loss, so that you are ready to listen. You are open. Your heart is open and ready to be aware of the insights, right? The synchronicities that are falling through into your lap. You see all the perspectives. You see the paradox of the situations that you're in, and you, with a very intentioned and clear, focused passion, you just keep moving. You know, you are embodying that Mercury energy. I wonder if you have Gemini placements in your chart. It feels very strongly Gemini and connected as well to Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter's journey through Gemini. So if that's true, that would be cool. You can leave me a comment if that relates. Obviously, it doesn't have to be the case. We're all going through a lot of Gemini energy right now, and this feels tied to with the 10 of Swords. It's making me feel that square we're all going to be having with so many planets to Neptune, and Neptune's at the very last degree of Pisces right now. And it is this moment of deep surrender. So actually, I feel if you're watching this when this reading comes through, and even if you're not, just the next 2 weeks of time after you're watching this could be very, very significant for you, and coming into way more of becoming who this person is, who you are, in a sense of, I'm capable of moving through loss in a way I never imagined before. Like it feels that way because we will have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all squaring Neptune at the last degree of Pisces, which is that's the very last degree of the entire zodiac, right? And Neptune is this great, mystery. It's the all. It's the collective, right? It's moving into oneness. And with all of these coming into that square, it feels like this point of needing to release something very significant, and that's happening at the very last degree of Gemini, and it's squaring Neptune and Pisces at the last degree of Pisces. So I just feel like that could be a very significant turning point for you, because then literally like the next day or something, I can't remember when, but the full moon's happening, the next full moon, which is the full moon in Capricorn, is happening with the Sun at the very first degree of Cancer. So I just get this sense that there's a big renewal about to happen for you that will kickstart this journey if you're not already feeling it or haven't necessarily felt on it yet. With the Call the Rocks too, this makes me feel like you, through the journey thus far, you're able to recognize and understand who's on your side in any place of the journey. So whether you're in ruin or you're in success and you're in good fortunes, you know who will be there with you and who you want to stand beside you. So that's another way of your becoming, or like you are becoming a person who can recognize that very, very quickly and swiftly, who is actually has your best interest at heart. And that's a powerful gift to have, you know, that's a powerful way to move through the world and understanding who can hold me right now and who do I want standing next to me. So let's look at these cards too. So this is the who or what are blocks to the journey right now, and then what or who is with you essentially right now. So for the blocks to the journey, we have this protection card, we have partnership, and then for who is here to support you or offer support at this time, we have the you are not alone, isolation, physical connection, and community. This is so interesting to me because I'm really drawn to the full moon in the back of this card, and then also the circle around this person's head again. I really feel like this next upcoming full moon, whenever you're watching this, the next full moon can bring, I think, something that's going to cause a breakthrough in this energy perhaps. And again with the Gemini, because we've got these two figures here and then this person with like wings in their head which is very Hermes to me, and that Mercury energy with Mercury ruling Gemini. But as a block, it makes me wonder if you're feeling vulnerable and maybe this need, almost a false sense, like you haven't reached the point yet of understanding how truly and deeply protected you actually are. So you're almost at a place of a threshold crossing, it feels, where you're moving into this place of understanding how tapped in and how protected you truly are at this time. And also the fact that the more you break, right, the more light is allowed to come through. What is that saying? Like the light, the cracks allow the light in, or whatever, something like that. It feels like that, and that at this time it might feel like a block, but it's something you're learning. It's a growing place. And with partnerships, this could be happening within relationship for you. There could be a way that you've had this feeling that you have to be in partnership in order for the next part of your journey to be what you desire or something, or like you can't do it all alone, or even maybe having a partner who you feel is holding you back, or you're just not on the same page right now or something. I'm not sure. This is going to be different for every single person who watches this. This is a collective reading, but there's something here about the idea of partnerships or someone who you are in partnership in your life, that either you needing to come to a place of being more deeply committed, or the other person, there's like a mismatch or something going on there where there isn't the full devotion in it to where you both are walking the same path together, is kind of the sense I'm getting from this. And that either needs to be transformed, or there needs to be some kind of separation in that, so that you both understand. This is making me think as well, our solar journey is our path of individuation. It's not meant to be taken with other people. It's our own unique journey, and we meet others along the path, right? But it doesn't necessarily, like, we can't take that journey together always with certain people. And it's natural when we're on these journeys to outgrow certain relationships, certain partnerships. And I wonder if it's a struggle at this time for you, whether you're at a place of outgrowing a specific relationship, or a place where you're really wanting to deepen into it, and it's scary, right? Maybe you're feeling a lack of this protection in opening yourself in that way, but it is available. Again, it's another growth edge for you, it seems. Something about partnerships and aligning yourself with another person as you're stepping into more of your solar energy. This person on the left has these, like, the fire coming out of their hands. So I feel it's this idea of like bringing so much more, again, like I said, of your solar energy, of you understanding yourself as this person who shows up more and more open every single time you reach these places of loss, because you understand it's a continuation of getting back on the wheel and knowing there's always more for you out there in the world. So, and this person has that, like, the water coming out of their hands, or this like sparkly water. So I mean, I feel that, yeah, like the fire and water coming together, the emotion and spirit coming together, something about that being a challenge, or just not currently like clicked in or in flow, because you're either in this place where you haven't fully recognized, oh, I ruined it. Like, experiencing a Ten of Swords moment doesn't mean I'm ruined for life. It means that I know how to pick myself back up, and I keep going because I recognize this is my journey. Like, anyone thinking that they're gonna go unscathed through life, what's the point of that, right? We learn through these things, and I think you're coming into that place where you recognize that more fully. And so whatever's going on here, it is a continuation of just helping you to learn that truth in this part of the journey. So, and again, like I said, something about the full moon might be really significant. The full moon coming up. And with the You Are Not Alone card coming through as who's supporting you, or who's available to support you. Again, with the twins, what the heck? Okay, there have to be some Geminis watching this. It's crazy. I love it. Isolation, physical connection, community. So you might be in this place where you really wish you had that partnership. That might be part of the block, is kind of a loss, a feeling of loss in that sense. And this card is saying that whoever you might be calling in, that they're actually already available. Like, their energy is connected with yours. And even beyond that you are deeply held and protected. And it says physical connection too. So I feel like that is either coming into your life soon, or is already available to you, and maybe you're just not opening your awareness to the fact that it does exist around you, and you can lean into that even more. This card to me is also saying that in the moments when you want to isolate, to just take a peek around and see if there's anyone who you feel safe enough, who you feel that protection with. This makes me feel with these two cards too, that maybe you have been in such a self-protective mode that it doesn't feel like anyone else could hold you with that protection. And this card is saying that that isn't necessarily true, and to seek out those who there might even be the smallest inkling that that's available to you. All of this is really, these cards are so much just a part of who you are becoming in this sense, because they're giving you the opportunities over and over again to face your like self-isolation tendencies, if that's true for you, or your kind of feeling of needing to not share your full self, or being afraid of vulnerability, whatever it might be. It seems like there are all these opportunities to work with that. And like I said, you're becoming someone with this deep emotional presence and able to be with others. Like, this card is able to be with others too. And this is Cancer too. And we're almost, like I'm saying, that full moon is going to be the sun at 1 degree of Cancer, and the moon in Capricorn. Did I say that wrong before? I'm sorry if I said that wrong before. The sun will be at the 1st degree of Cancer, and the moon will be at the 1st degree of Capricorn for the full moon that's happening. So it's a Capricorn full moon. But yeah. So let me know if that something happens over the full moon. I definitely would be curious to know. It seems like there's a lot of energy that is wanting to come in pretty fast, even with just this Eight of Wands showing up. That really relates to this too. The other readings weren't so much about timing, but this reading does kind of point to that for me. So just curious to know there. And let's see if there's anything else for y'all. I just say keep having faith, you know? As much as possible, give yourself, like, take the small movements that allow you to have more and more faith in life, and that letting things be released fully from your body and your system is going to help you move more and more towards your own evolution and your own growth, you know, having a faith too that your soul really is driving you in a direction for your highest good, no matter what that might look like. And to just be there for the ride and for the excitement of it all, no matter what it looks like from moment to moment. Yeah, all right, I'll leave it there, pile 3. Thank you so much for sharing your energy today, and thank you to the sun and to Mercury for coming through to let us tap in with these messages about your solar journey. And hopefully I will see y'all in another reading. Thanks, bye.